Shifters, entrepreneurs on the move, with your host, Amanda Barr, bringing you power-packed 15-minute conversations with entrepreneurs who share their stories of shifting in life and business to keep on the move.
We have a special guest today. I've got Sean Ferguson, a fitness lifestyle coach with Informed Movement, and he has over 13 years of professional experience in helping his clients achieve their health and fitness goals by developing personalized plans through fitness, nutrition, and recovery. And he also has one of the best fitness videos I've ever seen with his unique approach for clients. Check it out in the link below, and welcome to the show, Sean.
Hi, thanks for having me. How are you?
I'm great. It's so great to have you on the show.
Yes, it's an honor to be here. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, I know you, Sean, because we've been in communication for a while, but I'd love to have our listeners learn a little bit more about yourself and what you do.
Sure. So I've been a personal trainer. Now, I guess you could say fitness lifestyle coach. That's kind of my new title and the evolution I've taken my career in for last 13 years. So I'm in LA right now, looking to expand my fitness brand and business and evolve it in certain ways. And then I was in Seattle for about 17 years, and that's where things really kicked off for me in terms of fitness professionally. So I grew up in Washington and then moved to Seattle, and then now here I am in LA with me and the pup. I have a Great Dane, so we're enjoying the sunshine.
and he sneaks into some of the social media posts and videos, so you should check it out. He's beautiful.
Yeah, she's wonderful. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, geez. And go ahead and I would love to know, I know you said you started your fitness career out there. What got you started in this world? I know it's always fascinating and everybody has their journey of fitness, but how did you get into it?
Yeah, I'd say exercise started at a really young age, actually. I started lifting weights and experimenting with exercise around 13, so I was in junior high. I played sports ever since I was 6, and then in the small town that I grew up in Eastern Washington, there was a PE teacher who was also the varsity basketball coach at the high school and JV baseball coach. And he put together this really unique program called conditioning. And what it was for junior high students, 7th and 8th graders, because back then it was middle school and it was 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. And we joined, or we attended every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at like 6 a.m. So this was prior to the school starting. And he would start the classes with kind of like motivational lectures, if you will. He would give handouts talking about everything from professional athletes who, had hard upbringings and who became successful, or Green Berets and what things like Hell Week were. And it was absolutely necessary for me in a lot of ways. My father left when I was young, and I sought discipline. I sought having a leader, somebody in my life that I could look up to, as well as feel like I was on a path of progress and purpose. So that class was amazing. And it was also split with the conditioning aspect, hence the name, where he would really just boot camp us, if you will, with all sorts of different drills and exercises. And we'd run outside, run up hills, we'd do sprints, then we'd come inside in the gym, and he'd have a big routine set up for us. So pull-ups, push-ups, sit-ups, all these things. And that's where I just really fell in love with this idea of, physical exertion. And also I was trying to prove myself and be noticed, because he was the head basketball coach and I really loved basketball at the time. So
Nice.
He kind of wanted to, get on his radar if you wanted to play in that town at the high level. So once that embedded in terms of the feeling of tradition and discipline and the physical exertion, that was it for me. It planted a major seed, and I watered it basically the rest of my life. professionally, it was interesting because I was in and out of different colleges. I'd actually not found a path when I was going to school after high school that I just felt really good about. And I kept stepping back and saying, well, I don't want to be spending money if I don't know what I want to do. And I was living in Seattle, just waiting tables and also working a construction job. So just trying to make money. And obviously the fitness aspect of my life was still there and very prevalent. So I was working out at this gym downtown, and I got to know one of the head trainers, really nice guy named Dan. And, you know, after a while, he just, I'll never forget the day he turned around and said, he's like, what do you do, man? I'm like, well, I'm just kind of in between jobs right now and trying to figure out like what I want to do, if I want to go back to school and where I want to take my life. And he's like, man, the work ethic you have in here and the ability that you have to connect with people, I see it all the time. I think you should really look into personal training. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I have thought about that, but sure, I'll learn some more. And that was the turning point.
Wow.
He kind of took me under, he graciously took me under his wing, you know, outside of his work schedule, and kind of showed me different certifications that would be necessary to really get started, and how I could progress with my knowledge and expertise. Because I already had a good base in terms of movement and exercise selection and helping people. It was a matter of getting more of the science-backed stuff in there. So that's what started. I worked at a gym downtown Seattle, private gym, and then worked my way up into management, and decided that after a few years, management wasn't my love and my passion. My passion was connecting with people who were struggling.
Yeah.
So I, you know, kind of denounced myself, I guess, and stuck with personal training. At one point, I then met this guy who was an ex-collegiate athlete who was starting his own private business, and he had a handful of affluent clientele, and he asked if I wanted to join him in his private company. So I did, and that's kind of what birthed the desire to go sole proprietor and entrepreneur, because I thought, well, I love working for gyms, and it's a great atmosphere, and, you know, there's many people I get to meet. This was a way for me to kind of, you know, boost my business and my career. So that's how I got into the entrepreneur side. So here I am.
Wow, quite the journey, and thank you for taking us along that. That's very interesting, and I know all the entrepreneurs have their stories of how they got to where they are, and yours is great just to kind of hear that progression. And I want to just touch base because you said that you changed your title. I'm interested to know. That's a shift, and that's a big shift from you were working in a gym and probably known as the mostly fitness. So what caused the shift into this fitness lifestyle coach instead of just fitness?
Yeah. So I'll have to say that a lot of it was more personal. What created that shift directly, to be honest, there were some pretty big life events for me that happened about 8 to 10 years ago. I went through a divorce, and really at a point in my life where I needed to reconnect inside and figure some things out in order to rediscover my own happiness and peace and spirituality and emotional well-being. And I learned along that journey that, you know, taking care of yourself isn't just through exercise or, you know, doing things externally. It's understanding self. And I realized through that process and that transformative experience that there were so many parallels with the gym, if I have to label it as such, and life, you know, that you get out what you put in, show up regardless of how you feel, knowing that you'll feel better once you finish what you started. And these things just kind of started, I realized there's just these parallels and these connections, and I started to, you know, there was a part in my entrepreneurship, and this was true all the way back when I started, that results and success were measured in certain ways with clients, right? Like weight loss, or how much one can bench press, or, you know, how fast can someone run a mile, or how far can they run. And as great as those things are, and I think that's a wonderful aspect to fitness, it's more about understanding the mental and emotional successes that come with giving yourself time for your health, and learning to truly connect to that and celebrate those wins, because honestly, that's what's going to keep you going in the long term. And I now believe that exercise and fitness is 80% mental and 20% physical, and it's something that I now look at as this is a lifestyle. Now, do I want to put myself up there as something that's untouchable or unrelatable for people in terms of, you know, how I present in terms of what fitness looks like in my personal life? No, I don't. I want to show the struggle. I want to show the challenge. I want to show that it's something that I work through, and I know how to help people work through as well, because it was so easy for me to feel frustrated that my clients were frustrated that they weren't reaching certain milestones. And as I coach them on more of the mindset aspect and getting them to recognize the positive things, then the idea of coming to the gym or showing up to an appointment was something that they looked forward to, because they didn't have to look at, I didn't achieve this weight loss goal this month, so now I need to be down on myself. It's not about that. And, you know, there is no race. This is for the long haul. And as much as I know how to get people to where they need to go in an efficient amount of time, it's still reminding them along the way that this is more than just what's on the scale or how much you can squat. So
right.
I really wanted people to see me in terms of a fitness leader as somebody who's trying to infuse the lifestyle aspect of what exercise does for you, and customize that for your lifestyle and your schedule. Whether you're a stay-at-home mom or a single male entrepreneur, you know, the way that exercise is going to show up in your life is going to be different. So it's a matter of identifying those strengths and those things and working with that.
That's incredible. I mean, thinking about fitness today and how there's, you know, you think you hit it right on the nail, that customization, and that 80% mental, 20% physical. It's a powerful concept to really sit in and think about, and just that determination to move through, and even just having somebody to guide you through it. I think that's also, it's like, you know, trying to go at it alone. You can do anything alone, but when you've got somebody to give you that program, and you take it one step further, because you give them the full guided process through the fitness, nutrition, recovery, and also that emotional side too, if I understand correctly.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's where the major part of the evolution of my business has taken place. And, you know, as much as I feel great about and confident in a plan that works with exercise, and a plan that works with nutrition, and even a plan that works with learning active recovery and sleep and reduced stress habits, those things, none of that will take off or stay on a path forward if we're not addressing the internal messaging and what I call like the stories and the narratives. If I'm a person who's starting if I'm a person who's starting a program, let's say I want to lose 50 pounds, well, I can be really excited in the beginning. I can have my plan set out. And as I start to go along, these new changes, these new incremental, tangible aspects of my week to week towards my goal are going to start rubbing up against my mentality that I'm used to up to that point, where I want to find ways to either minimize or make excuses towards why I'm not doing something. And we can really convince ourselves wholeheartedly. And every time I say you, I'm also talking to myself, because I've learned this about me as well.
Yeah.
And
right.
and that is, I say something in my mind that makes sense and as to why I don't do it, and I buy into that, and then it's so easy to let that snowball. And so what I like to do in the first 30 days working with people is we do a lot of internal work. So there's daily fit journal, but it's addressing the narratives. What were some things today that came up mentally for you that you recognize that maybe got in your way or made you feel less enthused about trying to get to your goal? And what are some counter narratives? And then I give a list of counter narratives for very common ones. And it's about progress. I teach 80% rule, which is if you're achieving 80% of what you set out to do, you're on the right track. And given that 30 days to really understand the self, because when we build that foundation, that internal landscape, that inner framework, that's what sets you apart from where you are to where you want to go.
Wow. Wow. I mean, I hope everybody connects with you right after this, because, just listening to that journey and in that, it's like bringing it all together in such a way that can really transform somebody. And people, I think, understand and know, like, eating habits can be emotionally based and things that we're doing, but that mindset and breaking through. I'm glad you just hit on all those. I mean, in terms of like nuggets for entrepreneurs, I mean, a lot of this stuff can be just applied right back into the entrepreneurial world, as well as fitness, as all these things. I am interested to know, you've given so many incredible nuggets that, already in this show, but I would love to know if there's any nugget, either that you've learned through your process, besides the things you've shared, if you go back and said, this was really incredible, this helped me through a tough time, or forward, wherever they might be in their business or in their life.
Yes. Sorry, you cut out for that last part. Can you just kind of rephrase that question?
Yeah. So if there's any way that you could share with us, like a nugget that you either learned, like wish you would have known back in the day, or something that you've taken along with you that you can give to somebody else to help keep them on the move, what would that nugget be? What would you share with them today?
I would say, trying to think of an experience where I kind of had this epiphany that success is the steps you're making towards it versus what the outcome is. I think often we look at the end game, the accomplishment, the outcome as the measure, and it's anything that's less or more than that tangible thing can make or break your continued journey, and it robs you of the connection to self and the connection to the success you already are making and the steps towards something and moving forward and just trying. So I've always been I've had a black and white mentality, even a perfectionist mentality, and the word strive has always been something that used to be such a big motivator, and I have to balance that with surrender and learning how to let go a little bit and step back and reassess and understand, I'm doing a lot of really great things here, and I'm making a lot of great discoveries, and this is the process, and having peace with that, I think, is huge, so that not a success failure thing. It's more of I'm in line with what I want. I'm in line with my desires. And that's what matters the most. So, yeah.
Incredible. Wow, wow, wow. Thank you so much for all that you've shared today. I mean, got to go back and listen to it again. Just hit replay. Go back and listen again. Because I know there's going to be more things picked up listening to what you've shared today on all different aspects. And just for our listeners out there, like, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you? Because you can really help them probably beyond what they can even imagine right now in their life, in their fitness, in their nutrition, and beyond. So how do they get a hold of you, Sean?
Yeah, email is great, Sean@informedmovement.com. And I want people to know that taking this first step towards just connecting with me, there's no pressure in that. It's an exploration. It's, here's where I'm at, Sean. Here's what I aspire to do. Can I explore some options as in terms of what you think is the best approach? Because based on this pandemic, there's been a lot of adaptation and ways in which I coach. I can separate nutrition programs out of the transformation program or just exercise programs. I also do just, one-on-one Zoom personal training, and I can do that in group settings or partner settings. So I understand. I think I'll say lastly that one of the things that got me most excited about becoming a personal trainer is I didn't want people to feel intimidated by fitness. That was a very big driver for me, because I could see it in people's eyes. I could see it on their face, where that was a home for me and somewhere, a place that I felt comfortable. And I wanted people to at least experience some of that. And even if you're doing it on your own, in the privacy of your own home, there can still be that sense of uncomfortableness. And I want for people, fitness to be enjoyable. And it may take time, it may not, but that's why I've decided I'm going to really create different services here that best fit the client's needs. So, reaching out to me through email, we would just set up a consultation call after that if they're serious about looking at ways to get to their goals, and we'll explore it from there.
Incredible. I love that. I love that flexibility and customization opportunity, and just exploring possibilities. I think you couldn't have said it better. I might snag that one from you.
Yeah.
Just because it's so great. I mean, it takes down that fear factor to just say, okay, so the first step is just to find out what can this look like, and what could it look like for me.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm really going through. So thank you for opening that door wide open for anybody to reach out to you and connect. And we'll also put the links below, and so you can check out what Sean's doing, follow him on Instagram, and keep in the loop. And whatever you're going through, fitness, nutrition, emotionally, reach out and get connected. And Sean, I want to say thank you again for being on the show, taking the time to share the insights and just who you are and what you're doing in the world for people. We send you all the best and wish you great success in your business.
Thank you so much, Amanda. It was an honor to be on your show, and I'm very grateful. So thank you very much.
You're so welcome. And like I said, such a pleasure. And for all those listening today, keep on the move.
We hope you enjoyed the episode today. We appreciate each one of you for listening and hope you left inspired and motivated to keep on the move. If you think this episode might help or inspire someone else, please share. Don't forget to subscribe and keep in the loop to hear more incredible stories of entrepreneurs like yourself on the move. Thank you for our supporters, RTB Capital Group, Financial Powerhouse, Callcast, and Power Podcasting. Now, get out there and keep on the move.